Hey there, so I wanted to do a video on what exactly happens at stake redemption for the MAXI tokens. So this little diagram here can be a bit overwhelming, it's kind of showing a lot of stuff. There's the mint, which happened on all the tokens. If you weren't around for that, that might be confusing. There's the redemption, which people talk about, which is when the stake ends. There's different tokens which end at different times. There's redemption rate, which is like, what is that? Should I end the stake? Should I restart the stake? And so I want to kind of go over that in this video. And I think the best way to explain it is with a bit of an analogy, and that is selling your house. So imagine you bought a house in 1980, and the price of that one house that you bought in 1980 was $100,000, right? The American dream. Buy a detached house for $100,000, the white picket fence. Now, fast forward 40 years or so, that same house, the price is now worth $300,000, right? You say, hey, I've made good money on this. I want to sell the house for $300,000. You make $200,000 profit on the house. You now no longer own the house, but you change your mind and you're like, hey, wait, I want to buy another house, or I want to buy a similar house again, but in a new area. You go back to look at houses, and you're shocked to see that the same house that you bought in 1980 is now worth $300,000. And you're like, wait, why can't I get that same house again for $100,000? Well, you just sold the house, don't forget, for $300,000, so you now also have to pay that new rate. You're on the other side of the deal now. You have to pay the new rate, and this rate has increased from $100,000 to $300,000, right? So effectively, just holding the house would have been the same as you selling it and then rebuying the house, right? Ignoring all the other fees and stuff. So yeah, MAXI and all of the MAXI tokens worked in a very, very similar way, where at the stake start, one base or one of these tokens is worth one hex. Over time, once you get to stake end for base after 1 year, one base is no longer worth one hex, right? Similar to the house, it's gone up in price, just in hex terms. So, when base ended, it's worth about 1.12 hex, because the stake itself has increased in size. It's been earning yield the whole time. So now the stake is worth more. One base is worth more. And so if you had minted base at the beginning, just like buying the house in 1980, you'd be up in hex terms, right? You'd have 12% more hex. Now, if you redeem your, redeem your hex and give up your base, you get, for every one base, you will get 1.12 hex in return. But when you if you change your mind and you decide to remint base, you're not going to be getting the 1-for-1 again. You're not going to be able to go back in time and get the price as it was in 1980, or as it was when the stake started. You're going to have to pay the new rate, the new price, which is one base equals 1.12 hex. And so in the same way as, selling a house for 300K and then rebuying the house for 300K, you're not going to be getting any benefit by redeeming your hex and then reminting your base. You may as well just hold your base. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how it works. So going back to this diagram, visually, how does this look? In the beginning, you could mint, or you could buy one base for one hex. The stake backing has since increased to a point of base being worth now 1.12 hex. Any new minters coming in, they will have to pay this new rate if they want to participate and mint base, you cannot mint base at a 1-to-1 rate any longer, right? At this redemption period. If you no longer want base and you want to redeem your HEX, cool. Like, you can take out your HEX at this rate and you can be gone and you'll have your HEX and you'll be happy, right? So yeah, I hope that explains it in a bit more detail, and yeah, let me know. And this rate, a very important point, this rate is not fixed, right? Like, every stake period, this rate is calculated based on the size, if I go here, the size of the stake, right? So we don't know what that rate will be in advance, just like you don't know what the market price of your house will be in advance. We don't know how large the stake will be. It's based on so many dynamic factors, like how many people early in staked, the daily payouts for each day being different, the amount of stakers. So we can kind of guess or estimate this number just by projecting out based on what we think it will be. But for example, when base period 2 ends, we don't know exactly what it will be. On Look into MAXI, I have it penciled in as about 1.25, 1.24. But yeah, that's kind of an unknown, right? It's like a question mark for stake period 2, but it will be calculated at this exact moment. So when the stake ends, the total amount of principal and interest in HEX will be done. The stake will be done. That number will be finalized. The redemption rate at which you can withdraw HEX will be finalized, and that will be also, that same number will be the new rate for new players coming in who want to mint base. That will also be their rate that they, so the price that you sell the house, that's also going to be the price that new people buy the house, so to speak. So I hope that makes sense, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.